And then game number 3, number 16 Duke traveling to Tallahassee. They're a 14-point dog. That'll be Saturday at 7:30 Eastern time on ABC. Biggest question in this one. You got top scoring offense in the ACC against the top scoring defense. What more do you want? Florida State against Duke. The big question, is Riley Leonard available? He did not play this past Saturday against NC State. He remains day-to-day. And Mike Elko said that his quarterback was practicing. Now, he's thrived. He's thrived when running the football. I mean, very, very athletic. Averages 65 yards a game on the ground. That can create a lot of problems for a Florida State defense that has at times struggled against mobile quarterbacks. Of course, the one that we circle is the one against Boston College. Castellanos had 95 yards or so on the ground that day against Florida State. That's not going to be good enough. Now, they played much better against Schrader last week for Syracuse, but either way, I think the rushing yards by the quarterback could be advantageous for Duke if they want to pull the upset. In the event in which Riley Leonard can't go, and I don't think he will. That's just my assumption. I'd be surprised if we saw him out there. But in the event in which he can't go, redshirt freshman Henry Beelan will step in. Made his first career start last week, completed just 4 passes. But he did make those 4 passes count. Had the one big play and the touchdown. I had a couple touchdowns, but the big play was the big one to kind of pad that lead against an offense for NC State that really struggled. Question number 2, can Florida State limit Duke's rushing attack? Waters is the running back for Duke, and they're really good. I mean, yards per attempt, they're number 1 in the ACC in yards per attempt, rushing yards per game, and rushing touchdowns. So Duke can control the line of scrimmage. Now, they're not a huge, 450, 500-yard type of offense. It's just not who they are. They're really in the high 300s, but they are pretty dang good on the ground. They have rushed for nearly 200 yards a game, and they have played against some quality defenses, I might add. They've played against Clemson. They've played against Notre Dame. These are teams that can get after you against the run, and they've been able to kind of churn some things out in a good way. Jordan Travis will be paying close attention to him in this game. Duke runs a zone defense. They bring zone pressures, and they disguise a lot of looks. It's tough to play against. I think Mike Elko's scheme is really, really good because if you play against Florida State and want to play man coverage, you are dead. I'm just telling you right now, you're dead. Why? Because you cannot play Keon Coleman one-on-one. You cannot play Johnny Wilson with his length one-on-one. He's obviously likely coming back from injury. And you take into account the other man coverage aspects as well. Toafili, great in a one-on-one situation out of the backfield and finally got going last week with the big game against Syracuse. And to make it a little bit more difficult, can't play man-to-man because Jordan Travis, if you are, as a defensive back, looking at the wide receivers because you're playing man coverage, Jordan Travis will kill you with his legs as well. So can Jordan Travis take advantage of Duke's zone defense? That's what you're going to get. I think that's a right way to play against Florida State. But Mike Elko will have a really good plan because this defense is excellent. They are excellent. And last week, they did a great job against NC State, 4 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, and they also allowed just 3 points in the game. That was their fewest allowed by Duke in an ACC game since 2008. That was against Virginia. So they're really, really solid, but a couple trends to consider in this one. Florida State is 3-0 against the spread with teams with winning records this year. And each of Duke's last 13 games against AP-ranked opponents have gone under the total. 13 in a row on the under. Of course, Florida State 3-0 against the spread. I like Florida State to win the game. I think they're going to win the game convincingly, especially in the event in which Riley Leonard can't play. But I do believe that Duke's defense will keep it close. I think they'll keep it close. But a big touchdown there at the end will break it open for Florida State. I think it'll be somewhere in the vicinity of a 27-14 type of ball game where it never feels like Duke's going to win, but it isn't the blowout that maybe some people might be expecting.